All right, let's pick up from where we left off. We stopped at number 9. So number 9 says to find the value of x so that the figures have the same perimeter. Okay, so let's talk about a few things here before we get started. First of all, I have to know, what does this mean, the perimeter? And of course it means we are finding the distance around the figure. And so to find the distance around the figure, you're going to add all your sides. Okay? The next word I want to look at is the word, is this word right here. What does this mean for us in math? Well, it means it's equal. So they're actually asking us to find the value of x so that the perimeter of this triangle would be equal to the perimeter of this rectangle. So if I'm adding my sides for my triangle, I have 3x plus 4. I have 5x plus 1, and I have 2x plus 5. And I want to add those, so I'm just going to put a plus sign. Sorry, I'm trying to change my color. I want to put a plus sign, not doing it. Sorry guys, technicalities. Alrighty. Okay, let's try this. I want to put a plus sign in between these 3 sides, okay? Alright, so now let's do the other one. I need to add up all my sides of my rectangle. But if you'll notice, I have 4 sides, but I only have 2 amounts. But we all know that the length of this side is x plus 13, so the length of this opposite side is also going to be x plus 13. And the length of this side is 2x, so the length of this side will also be 2x. So I will have 2x, and then an x plus 13, and then a 2x, and then an x plus 13. And then again, I want to put some plus signs in between those 4 sides, because I want to add them together. And now we want to do the equal sign. So we're going to say they're equal to between the 2. So now at this point, we can just go ahead and do what we've been doing. Combine our like terms, etc. So over here, I have 3x. If I can do it. I've got 3x. I have a positive 5x. I have a positive 2x. All those are like terms, so 3 plus 5 is 8 plus 2 is 10, so that gives me 10x. And then I have some numbers. I have a positive 4, I have a positive 1, and I have a positive 5. So 4 plus 1 is 5 plus 5 is, again, 10. On this side, I have a positive 2x and a positive 1x. And a positive 2x, and again another positive 1x. So 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1 is a grand total of 6x. And then number-wise, I have a positive 13 plus another 13, and that will give me a positive 26. Okay, so from there, I need to move my variables to one side. And I'm going to do that by subtracting 6x because I like to have my variables on the left-hand side. And that will give me 4x here plus 10 equals, this is gone, 26. Because I'm running out of space, you guys, I'm going to move it over here so we have a little more room, okay? All right, so from there now I want to, I want to move my 10 over, and I'm going to do that by subtracting 10 on both sides. That one's gone, leaving me 4x, and then 26 minus 10 will give me 16. And my next step would be to divide by 4 on both sides. And then that is going to leave me, the 4's cancel, and 16 divided by 4 is simply 4. So my x is equal to 4. Okay, number 10 says we're going to evaluate each expression if r is equal to -2, n is equal to -3, and t is equal to +3. So any variables that I have in number 10, I need to replace with the numbers they've given me up here for my variables. So I have an absolute value bar. I'm replacing n right here with -3, minus, and then I'm replacing t with a +3, absolute value bar plus 4. So in my absolute value bars, I have negative 3 minus 3. Well, if we do the keep, flip, change, this is keep, this is flip, this is change. So then that gives me a negative 3 plus a negative 3, which will give me a negative 6. And then plus 4. In the absolute value bars, I need to find the absolute value of negative 6. So the absolute value of negative 6 is a positive 6. And then I simply add 4 to that, so my final answer is going to be 10. So let's try number 11. Same thing. I need to replace any of my variables with the given numbers or the given values. What we have to realize here, 3 times x, this means I'm multiplying, and then a 2w means I'm multiplying 2 times my w. So I have my absolute value bar, 3 times my x value is 4, minus 2 times my w value is 4.5. Absolute value bar minus my q, well my q is negative 1.5. And I'm going to put that in parentheses so that we don't lose the minus sign or the negative sign. So again, inside the absolute value bars, I have 3 times 4, which is 12. I have a negative 2 times 4.9, which is a negative 2 times 4.5, which is going to give me a negative 9. And then minus a negative, again, if we do the keep, flip, change thing, we're going to keep all this, we're flipping this, we're changing this. So in turn, it really comes out to be just a positive, 1.5. Okay, so let's keep going. If I'm inside my absolute value bars, hang on a second. Okay, sorry. Inside my absolute value bars, I have 12 minus 9, which will give me 3, plus 1.5. The absolute value of 3 is 3, plus 1.5, so that's going to give me the grand total of 4.5. Now, both of these problems we could have done in the calculator because there are absolute value bars in the calculator. So let me get the calculator set up and we'll do one of them in the calculator. Okay, so I'm on Scratchpad and I need the absolute value bars. Let's do number 11. So to get to my absolute value bars, we can hit this button right here that's next to the 9. And my absolute value bars, do you see I have a fraction here, but I want the absolute value bars, which are already highlighted, so I just hit enter. And then I'm going to do 3 times 4, so I'm going to do 3, and then I like to put my multiplication in parentheses. And then minus 2, I'm multiplying that with my w, which was 4.5. And then that's the only thing in my absolute value bars, so I need to arrow outside the absolute value bars. And then I have minus, and then my q, remember, was a negative 1.5. So if I put negative 1.5, we should be good. And I hit enter, and there's my answer, which was 4.5. All right, number 12 is asking us to solve for the variable r. And if you'll notice, we have 3 variables in here. We want to solve for r. So we are just going to go through the same process that we did when we were solving for the variable x, or just for a single variable, like we did at the beginning of this review sheet. So I want the r to stay right there. So I'm going to move my 3y over by subtracting. So it is gone here. It leaves, let me erase that. Okay, so it's, thank you. All right, so it leaves a 5r equals, and my w and my y are not the same variables, so I cannot combine those. So I'm just going to write exactly what I have, which is w minus 3y. And then my r is still not by itself. I have 5 times r over here on the left. So to get rid of my 5, I'm going to divide by 5 on both sides. So that will leave me r equals w minus 3y divided by 5. And here's my final answer. So let's try number 13. Same concept. I'm solving for this variable now, which is y, which is right here. So that means I'm moving my 3x over by subtracting. So my 3x is gone. It leaves me a negative 4y. and I have 7 minus 3x. Again, not like terms, so I cannot combine them. To get the y by itself, again, this is multiplication, so I'm going to divide by -4 on both sides. So the -4's will cancel. It will leave my y on the left. On the right, I have 7 minus 3x divided by -4. Okay? All right, let's just keep going. The next thing we're going to do is we've got some ratios, and they're asking us if they're equivalent. So I have a pair of ratios. So to find out if they're equivalent, I'm just going to cross multiply. And if my two products come out to be the same number, then they are equivalent. So if I multiply 5 times 11, and then 9 times 7, well, 5 times 11 is 55. And 9 times 7 is 63. So because my products are not the same, then no, they are not equivalent. On the next one, again, cross multiplying. So if I have 13 times 38, and then 19 times 26, 13 times 38 is 494. And then 19 times 26 is also 494. So because my products are the same, then yes, these would be equivalent ratios. All right, we're going to solve a proportion now. So again, I am still cross multiplying. So going this way, I have 15 times g, and then I have 9 times 10. So I'll bring my 15g down, and 9 times 10 is 90. So all I need to do is divide by 15. That leaves me g, and then 90 divided by 15 is 6. Let's keep going, see how many we can get done before my time runs out. So I'm going to cross multiply. Again, 42 times f equals 56 times 6. So I have 42f equals 336. Divide by 42. And my f is going to equal 8. Next one, cross multiply. So I'm going to have 14 times a minus 4. And then 7 times 6. So on this one, I actually have to distribute the 14 because I have more than one term inside the parentheses. So I'll have 14a minus 56 equals 7 times 6 is 42. Add my 56 to both sides. That leaves me 14a equals 98. Divide by 14 on both sides. And so my a is going to equal 7. One more. Cross multiply. 3 times y plus 6 equals 12 times 2. Again, I need to distribute because I have more than one term inside my parentheses. So I've got 3y plus 18 equals 24. Subtract the 18 on both sides. That leaves me 3y equals 6. Divide by 3. And that leaves me y equals 2. Okay, now keep in mind, because this was an equation and we're solving for a variable, and this was an equation and we're solving for a variable, even these two, so 16 through 19, they're all equations we can solve by, solving for a variable. We could put all of those into nsolve and find the same answers.